After a big win by the Badgers overnight, all eyes are now on the Brew Crew as they hope to clinch the division series over the Rockies this afternoon. Plus, Go Pack Go. The team is in Detroit and we're hours away from a noon kickoff. We have your 3 things to watch for during the game. And from Washington to Wisconsin, the vice president has plans to visit the state this week, throwing his support behind Governor Walker.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 6:30 on this October 7th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield once again in for Chris, and kind of a same looking forecast as well. There was a few raindrops on my way in this morning.
Yeah, it's kind of drizzly, still dreary outside. I wish I had some sunshine for everybody, but at least temperatures aren't too cold or warm, kind of in the middle of things, and that's really what can describe this forecast. We're in the middle of some light shower activity across southern Wisconsin. Much of that activity still to our south, but some light returns showing up on a Doppler track this morning, so maybe just a few light sprinkles as we're heading out this morning. Downtown Madison and the Edgewater Skycam looking at those mostly cloudy skies, again with a few raindrops. Visibility not a problem for most of us, but that doesn't include the Dells. We're down to 1.5 mile visibility. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s to start off this Sunday. Those winds will be a little bit more breezy. You'll notice that throughout the day. Right now at 12 miles per hour out of the northeast in Madison. So your day planner really staying in the 50s for much of the day. Once again, those temperatures staying pretty steady with a chance of some showers throughout the day. They'll be widely scattered in nature. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Park Street and the Beltline looking pretty quiet. No major accidents or incidents to report on the major roads in and around Dane County and Madison in general. Here are your drive times. Janesville to the Beltline, 28 minutes. That's looking good at this time this morning. Average speed of around 65 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. We just keep getting these rain chances back to back, so we'll time them all out and tell you when that sunshine comes back in your first alert forecast.
I hope soon.
Yes, me too. The clock's ticking, Mother Nature. Come on, get it over with.
All right, Dave, thank you. Developing overnight, Madison police are investigating a possible shooting outside of a bar. Police were called to the Connections bar on the 3700 block of East Washington early this morning. That's near the Hy-Vee there. Police say they found evidence of a shooting in the parking lot of Connections, but wouldn't elaborate more. No injuries have been reported, but police are looking for witnesses in order to track down the people involved. Anyone with information is asked to call the Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Judge Brett Kavanaugh is now officially a member of the United States Supreme Court. The Senate voted to confirm Kavanaugh by a 50-48 margin. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska voted against Kavanaugh's confirmation, but that was offset by Democrat Joe Manchin voting in his favor. Kavanaugh was then promptly sworn in Saturday afternoon. Wisconsin's 2 senators voted along party lines, with Democrat Tammy Baldwin voting against the confirmation and Republican Ron Johnson voting for it. Senator Baldwin released a statement after the vote saying in part, quote, "Judge Kavanaugh has proven that he lacks the judicial temperament to serve on America's highest court, and I do not believe he will provide independence we need on our Supreme Court at this time," end quote. Meanwhile, Senator Johnson cited Kavanaugh's experience on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, saying, quote, "The reviews of him being a judge and being impartial and showing the proper temperament on that court are overwhelming." Meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence will be making his way to Wisconsin this week to show his support for Governor Scott Walker. This, of course, comes ahead of next month's election. Vice President Pence will host a pair of events in support of his longtime friend and political colleague. Those will take place in Green Bay and Eau Claire on Wednesday. Vice President Pence was last in Wisconsin in late August when he held a fundraiser for Republican U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir. Vukmir is running against incumbent Tammy Baldwin. Both Baldwin and Walker's opponent, Tony Evers, have been ahead in the latest polls. Just this week, former President Barack Obama announced his endorsement of those Democratic candidates. You will have an opportunity to hear from Wisconsin's candidates for a seat on the U.S. Senate. Incumbent Tammy Baldwin and challenger State Senator Leah Vukmir will be at UW-Milwaukee's Peck School of the Arts for a debate tomorrow night. The latest Marquette Law School poll showed Baldwin leading Vukmir 53 to 42%. You can stream that debate starting at 6 o'clock. You'll need to buy a ticket if you want to be there in person. Starting next fall, some students at Edgewood College will get a private school education at a public school price. Edgewood College's Intuition Grant program will help students who excel in academics get a small college experience at a tuition rate comparable to that of UW-Madison. Students accepted into the program will be guaranteed the same level of aid for all 4 years. The new program will be available to full-time freshmen. A suicide awareness campaign on the UW campus continues to grow as thousands of students and staff are showing their support for the Bandana Project. We first introduced you to the founder of that project, Conlon Bass, earlier this year. He lost his uncle and a high school friend to suicide and decided there should be more conversations about the issue at his university. Now almost 3,500 people have a neon green bandana and cards to help point people to services. A recent survey shows more than 200 people wearing bandanas have been asked for information on those mental health resources. This week, students with the Bandana Project will be on Bascom Hill handing out materials for Mental Illness Awareness Week. The UW will be taking part in a nationwide study on sexual assault this winter. The survey will ask students on more than 30 campuses how they feel about their college environment. Their answers will all be confidential. UW took part in the survey back in 2015, finding 1 in 4 women reported some form of sexual assault. The study comes from the athletic department, reviewed in its own sexual assault policies and largely found no problems. It is 6:36 and victories in sight for the Brewers this morning as the team will play for a trip to the National League Championship Series today. Friday's win marked 10 straight wins for the Brewers. After a rocky Game 1, Jeremy Jeffress bounced back with 2 scoreless innings, teaming with the Brewer bullpen and starter Jhoulys Chacin to shut out the Rockies. Game 3 is set for this afternoon in Denver. First pitch is at 3:37 our time. This series is also being called the Beer Series as 2 beer companies are squaring off. Both ballparks in Milwaukee and Denver are named for their brewing companies, which are both owned by Miller Coors. So if the Brewers win the series, fans in Milwaukee get a free Miller at participating bars October 12th, and the same goes for Denver. Each city has a long brewing history, with Miller opening in 1855. Coors was founded in 1873 in suburban Golden, Colorado. Another honor for the Brew Crew. The Milwaukee Brewers have the 10th best attendance record in baseball. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports the numbers were released this week for total attendance for every major league team. The Brewers made the top 10 despite being the smallest metropolitan market in the league. Although the average league attendance decreased 4.1%, the Brewers saw an increase of 11.4%. Only the Houston Astros and Philadelphia Phillies had a larger increase. New this morning, the Packers are playing away this week. They're in Detroit against the Lions. News 3 Sports Director Jay Wilson has 3 things to watch for this afternoon.
When the Packers play at Detroit at noon today, here are 3 things to watch. It'll be interesting to see what the Packers offense looks like today after Aaron Rodgers called it terrible after the 22-0 win against Buffalo last week. A perceived rift between Rodgers and head coach Mike McCarthy has been watered down a bit, as both are now saying they just want to improve the offense. The Packers defense isn't terrible at all. In fact, they're coming off a rare shutout in the NFL. Safety Clinton Dix said when you get a shutout one week, it usually makes you want to get one the next week. But getting a shutout against Matthew Stafford and the Lions is a much taller order. And anytime you think of the Packers playing in Detroit, you think Hail Mary. Remember that memorable Aaron Rodgers to Richard Rodgers last-ditch touchdown in 2015 to steal the win from the Lions? Well, the Packers are hoping it doesn't get down to that, but if it does, you know Aaron Rodgers has magic in that right arm, and it's there if they need it. And that's 3 things to watch with the Packers and Lions today.
Thank you, Jay. And you can count on News 3 for complete coverage. We'll have a recap of all of the action during today's game on our news at 5:30 and 10 tonight. After a bye week, the Badgers were back in action at Camp Randall last night. They beat the Cornhuskers 41-24. The team's offense got off to a bit of a slow start, but picked things up in the second quarter. Sophomore running back Jonathan Taylor had a solid night, scoring 3 touchdowns. The defense also forced a fumble in the second half. Campus police had a busy night. In total, they issued 25 citations, arrested 26 people, and that included 16 students. Police ejected 56 fans for a variety of reasons during the night game, including public intoxication, possession of alcohol, and disorderly conduct. Well, it is 6:40 on this Sunday morning, and we're waking up with more clouds out there this morning. Here's a live look outside. Much of the same is on the way for your Sunday, kind of a rinse and repeat from yesterday. Dave is tracking more rain chances in the coming week when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. The finest of drizzle falling right now on the weather patio and across portions of southern Wisconsin. Some light showers in some other spots, but generally not looking at anything too heavy to start out our Sunday. So Doppler track is showing that just some very, very light drizzle and some light sprinkles in spots. As we zoom out, we could see a little bit on the way of heavier rain is to the south and west of us. That will continue to move to the north and east throughout the morning. So have that umbrella with you because you might need it. I really don't expect any heavy rain, though, until our first round of possibly heavy rain arrives later on tonight. So that's something to keep in mind. October precipitation already over 3 inches of rain in just the first week of October in Madison, and we've already eclipsed our monthly average. We're supposed to have about 2.5 inches over the entire month of October, Mother Nature, not the first week. Earth to Mother Nature, I should say. It feels a little bit like May with the amount of rain that we have received, not really with our temperatures, although we did hit the 80s already this month. And so our excessive rainfall outlook for today, there's actually a slight chance in Madison, but it looks like generally over the next 3 days, because remember, we do have those rain and storm chances in the forecast for the next 3 to 4 days or so. It looks like the heaviest of rain chances will stay just to the north and west, but we have to watch that very closely because we've seen over the past couple of months how quickly that can change. Downtown Madison, cloudy, maybe a little bit of fog and drizzle outside on the Edgewater Skycam. The almanac forecast high staying in the mid-50s once again, about 10 degrees below normal. Our temperature trend over the last 24 hours, wow, holds steady in the mid-50s, and that's where we start the day in Madison, in the low 50s, I should say. 54 in Janesville, 46 in Viroqua. Wind speeds, they'll be a little bit gusty today out of the north and east at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Our high temperature trend, we will be quite warm, though, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as a warm front comes through, but we will get back to seasonable temperatures by the time we get into the middle of the work week. Future track showing things staying fairly quiet throughout the day, but maybe a few nuisance showers here and there, so have that umbrella ready to go. Then our chance of heavy rain, at least our first round of possibly heavy rain, arrives late tonight into tomorrow. Some downpours are possible, and then multiple additional rounds of rain possible throughout the next couple of days. By the time we get to later on Monday, could be dealing with another inch to an inch and a half of rain, and while that won't cause any flash flooding concerns, it could make some river flooding worse across southern Wisconsin, so that's something to keep in mind. But we do get that sunshine back again finally by the time we get to Thursday. So those temperatures cooler, but at this point, Josh, I'll take the sun over those unseasonably warm temperatures, I think.
Some light at the end of a very long tunnel, Dave.
Yes, we did. We have to squint to see it, but it is coming.
All right, Dave, thank you. Today is your chance to walk to end Alzheimer's. News 3 is a proud sponsor of the event. It starts at 10 a.m. at Memorial High School, and you can still sign up this morning. This year's walkers have already raised more than $150,000 for Alzheimer's research. The disease affects more than 5 million Americans. Also happening today, the world's #1 best-selling author James Patterson will be at the Overture Center for the Wisconsin Book Festival. He's known for his thriller and mystery novels, but this weekend he's focused on a whole different genre. Max Einstein, The Genius Experiment is a children's adventure novel about a girl who solves some of the world's toughest problems using science. Patterson will begin his talk at 10 this morning. Well, it is 6:47 on this Sunday morning. Many high schools pride themselves on embracing diversity, but despite that push, some students still find themselves falling behind. Where and why these programs are falling short, failing to help all students achieve academic and social success. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning. Just about 6:51 on this Sunday morning. Some light drizzle and light shower activity showing up across portions of southern Wisconsin, but we really don't need to worry about any of that just yet. Have that umbrella with you because throughout the day there may be some nuisance showers forming. Temperatures starting off in the 40s and 50s across Wisconsin, even some 30s closer to the Northwoods. You can see a little bit of that fog and drizzle or frizzle, if you will, on the WISC-TV Skycam in Madison. So this morning cloudy, maybe some fog, some late showers, breezy and cool with temperatures staying in the 50s. And this afternoon, highs only making it into the 50s with showers and possibly even an isolated thunderstorm under mostly cloudy skies. And that's your first alert forecast.
All right, Dave, thank you. Right now, test scores are showing the achievement gap between students of color and their white classmates is growing wider the closer high schoolers get to graduation. Adriana Diaz has more on why diversity in the community has not guaranteed equality in the classroom.
One thing about being a kid of color in the American school system is definitely just everything is stacked against you.
Some kids have that mindset growing up. They can be like 10 growing up, like the world doesn't see me as worthy.
I've always noticed the racial makeup of my classes and how being in more advanced classes, like there are definitely more white students.
Charles Donaldson, Grant Lee, and Caroline Roebling-Greist all say racial inequity exists at their school, where cameras followed them for the Starz docuseries America to Me, beginning in 2015.
And a lot of people are talking about it around the school, and I think like maybe every day, like maybe 2 to 3 new people come up to me.
Oak Park River Forest High School is in an upscale and progressive Chicago suburb that prides itself on embracing diversity.
We've seen a lot of films and a lot of focus on poor, besieged communities, public schools with no funding, violence in the community. But what's going on in a place like Oak Park, where a lot of those more obvious obstacles to education equity are kind of eliminated?
Director Steve James is from Oak Park, and his 3 children went to the school. Much of his work explores racism and adversity, including the critically acclaimed Hoop Dreams in 1994. America to Me is the first time he's covered similar themes in his own neighborhood.
When you are dealing in a very liberal community where people feel like they have a tremendous amount of self-awareness and sensitivity, then it brings to the fore the ways in which we are not as sensitive as we may think we are.
Where is 230?
The series captures universal teen trademarks.
Who's looking for 230?
Getting lost as a freshman. That was him. And high school crushes.
That was him.
But frays in the school's diverse racial tapestry quickly come into focus. Some black and mixed race students say they feel like outsiders.
I knew that the school wasn't, in a sense, for me. All the white kids, they know that they never have to question whether or not they should be here.
Inequity also appears in the numbers. White students at the school scored an average of 33% higher than their black peers on standardized tests in 2016.
What did you think of this series when you saw it?
Had a lot of emotions.
Principal Nathaniel Rouse was against the docuseries from the start, but the school district voted to let the show go on.
There's a concern and perception out there that all of our students are struggling. Those lived experiences are real, and we need to work on those. But again, that's just simply not the story of all of our students. I think that what is unique about us is our willingness and attempt to address those issues with action-oriented opportunities.
Beyond interactions with teachers, America to Me also documents how students interact with each other.
Whether it's in the lunchroom or certain clubs or teams, like cheerleading, to see it up close and to sort of see the ways in which kids sort of segregate themselves was eye-opening.
I almost cried when Evie died.
Just being diverse, like some people think, oh, that solves the problem. Like, oh, we're all living together. But no, you know, some people are living and some are like just barely surviving.
I think the truth is that racism and supremacy is no longer legal, so it kind of just happens behind closed doors and is underlying, but it's still very present.
Even at a school like this, as diverse as this?
Yeah.
How do you think schools should fix this kind of problem?
I definitely think there needs to be more talks, focus on trying to stop that institutionalized racism. And it's not only in the high school, you need to go back to the elementary school, back to the middle schools, because that's where those things can form in some people's heads. There needs to be curriculums and things taking place that can form better equity, because it's never going to be perfect, but we can at least try.
The students recognize these are difficult conversations to have, but they say they're necessary. They've actually gotten together for watch parties to see the docuseries. Now, the students, the school, and the filmmaker told us they, of course, know these issues aren't unique to Oak Park. They plague many parts of the country. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Oak Park, Illinois.
It is 6:56, and there's a full hour straight ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Your day's top stories are next, but first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, I'm Eric Franke, filling in for Neil Heinen. This morning on For the Record, we're talking about the election in November, quickly approaching, a lot at stake, and we're here to talk about it. Our political analyst, Brandon Scholes, a partner at the Capital Group, and Matt Rothschild from the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Join us on For the Record this morning at 10:30.
The benefits of hugging and the risks of light drinking. The week's top medical stories are just ahead in Health Watch.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 o'clock now on this October 7th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is tracking more rain chances for the week ahead, but first, here's what's making news this morning. Madison police are investigating a possible shooting outside of Connections Bar. It happened overnight on the 3700 block of East Washington near Hy-Vee. Police say they found evidence of a shooting in the parking lot of Connections, but wouldn't elaborate. No injuries have been reported, but police are looking for witnesses in order to track down the people involved. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. You have until Tuesday to help fund the multi-million-dollar expansion of the Olbrich Botanical Gardens. The city is selling $500 bonds on a first-come, first-served basis. They're 10-year notes, at which time people can cash them in and collect interest. The money collected will help pay for the construction of a new learning center and an energy-efficient greenhouse where staff will be able to grow even more flowers and plants. Construction on the expansion is expected to take a year. This Wednesday, Vice President Mike Pence will be in Wisconsin, throwing his support behind Governor Scott Walker. This, of course, comes ahead of next month's elections. Vice President Pence will host a pair of events in Green Bay and Eau Claire to support his longtime friend and political colleague. Pence was last in Wisconsin in late August when he held a fundraiser for Republican U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir. This afternoon's Brewers-Rockies game isn't just for a trip to the National League Championship Series. It's also being called the Beer Series. Both ballparks in Milwaukee and Denver are named for their brewing companies, which are both owned by Miller Coors. So if the Brewers win the series, fans in Milwaukee get a free Miller at participating bars October 12th, and then the same goes for Denver. Each city has a long brewing history, with Miller opening in 1855 and Coors was founded in 1873 in suburban Golden, Colorado. 7:02 is your time right now, and Dave, I think that's my favorite story of the morning right there.
Yeah, it sounds like a win-win for fans, especially since both of the beers owned by the same company. Pretty cool stuff, but hopefully the Brewers can get that sweep. And on our radar sweep transitions, one of my many specialties here on News 3, we are looking at a few late showers, especially a little bit to the north and west of Madison, and drizzle throughout the area. Really not the best morning, but at least it's not too chilly outside. Temperatures are in the 50s. You'll probably need a jacket just to deal with a little bit of that fog and drizzle. Platteville looking at very cloudy skies on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Actually down to 49 now in Madison, 54 in Janesville, 50 in Watertown, and 52 in Mineral Point. Wind speeds, they're going to be a little bit gusty today. If they're not already, just wait until this afternoon with that front nearby, and they'll start to pick up at about 10 to 20 miles per hour out of the northeast. So temperatures and winds over the next 12 hours, kind of reinforcing what I just said. We are staying pretty steady in the 50s, especially this afternoon, with that northeast wind about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. No major problems showing up on the major routes in and around Madison. Traffic is generally heading out at the posted speeds, maybe a little bit slow in that construction zone close to Middleton on Highway 12, but really on the Beltline, no problem showing up at all. Everything's showing up green with average speeds right around 60 miles per hour. And that's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. 3 minutes past the hour right now. A local nonprofit aimed at long-term housing for people living with autism took a major step this weekend. A Home for Our Own is all about creating ways for those on the autism spectrum to live independently. At a fundraiser Saturday, plans were revealed for a 40-unit apartment complex that could do just that. Leaders from the organization say it's important people living with autism have certain things in their living spaces, like places to socialize, quiet spaces, and recreational equipment so they can be physically active. It's also important they have a place where they can safely walk at whatever pace they like. Construction on the complex could start as early as next summer. The midterm election is now less than a month away. Dane County voters will join 15 other counties in Wisconsin voting on an advisory referendum on the legalization of marijuana. It's prompting people with Madison Normal, a pro-marijuana organization in Madison, to push voter registration during the 48th annual Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Fest. Organizers are spending the weekend discussing marijuana and why they feel it should be legalized.
If you do not know somebody who's been affected by the opioid crisis, you know a family, or you know someone with a family member who has been affected by the opioid crisis. And in the 31 states that have legalized medicinal cannabis, they've seen up to a 25% drop in the opioid prescriptions, overdoses, and deaths.
Voters will answer a question on the ballot about if marijuana should be legalized, taxed, and regulated in the same way alcohol is for adults over 21 years old. Now, this is just to gauge public opinion, though it is not legally binding. On the Health Watch at 7:05 this morning, drinking just a little bit can pose some big health concerns. Researchers say having just 1 or 2 drinks 4 to 5 times a week increases the risk of early death by 20%. Washington University researchers studied data from more than 400,000 adults and found light drinking increases cancer risk. This is a change from previous studies which linked light drinking with cardiovascular benefits. Adults with arthritis are twice as likely to experience symptoms of anxiety and depression than those without. The CDC report finds 9 million American adults with arthritis have anxiety and 5 million have depression. The symptoms are much more common in middle-aged adults than older adults. Depression isn't just for humans. Our constant dependence on cell phones could be contributing to doggy depression. Greg Argos explains how the time we spend staring at screens could be hurting our pets.
It's a constant battle between paying attention to man's best friend or checking out that latest YouTube video on man's favorite device.
I get the poke and the, hey, what are you doing? Or I get the toy put in my lap and whatnot. So
Pay attention to me.
Yeah, exactly.
A new study shows dogs may become more anxious and possibly even suffer from doggy depression due to our overuse of smartphones.
A lot of times in the dog park, people just don't pay attention in general.
The new norm seems to be paying attention to our screens and forgetting about Fido.
He very much is like, hey, I'm here, or he tries to act out.
He sees me on my phone all the time. And he looks at me like, come on, I see you on your phone.
The UK-based study focused on how welcoming a pet, specifically a dog, could help people suffering from mental health issues. And though cats did not seem to be affected,
They just seem aloof to me anyway. I hope I'm not offending cat people, but
it's all good, we're in a dog park. Researchers also learned dogs may suffer from depression if their human handlers ignored them.
It's just like having a kid. You know, you need to have your eyes on them at all time.
Queen Village veterinarian Dr. Alexander Koyata says he sees the effects of smartphone usage.
We need to all get off our phones.
Especially since pups are very good at reading our subtle cues.
Dogs do read body language. They read our eye contact, our facial expressions. So if we are on our phone and acting disinterested and they're looking for attention, it is kind of basically ignoring your dog.
And the last thing you want is a bothered furry friend.
I put my phone away. Yeah, he'll bark too if he's not getting enough attention.
Very interesting news there. If you're looking to boost your mood, try giving someone a hug this morning. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon say hugs can help improve your mood, physical health, and relationships. They followed 400 adults for 2 weeks, finding those who received hugs during days they had conflicts experienced smaller increases in negative emotions that continued into the next day. Well, how about that? And we definitely need a mood boost this weekend as the sun sure isn't helping us out. Here's a live look outside. This is Platteville, another cloudy, gloomy day to start us off, and there is more rain on the way. But we do have some sun coming. It's going to just take a few days. Dave is next to lay it all out in his forecast. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning. I hope you're having a great Sunday so far. Another gloomy start to Sunday with some light drizzle and light showers falling across portions of southern Wisconsin this morning. As we take a look at Doppler track, we can see much of the more substantial rain activity is still to our south and west, but throughout the day that may change. Some of those nuisance showers could be coming in, so have that umbrella ready to go. You probably won't need it immediately this morning. Just kind of annoying drizzle and some light showers in some spots, but that's about it right now. But again, later on tonight could be our next round of heavy rain coming through southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now are in the 40s and 50s, 49 in Madison, 51 in Monroe, and 52 in Mineral Point. A live look in Madison and the WISC-TV Skycam showing us once again socked in with the clouds. If I had to describe this weather, it's pretty bleh outside. However, it could be worse. It could be raining cats and dogs outside, or maybe temperatures dipping into the 30s, which is a possibility as we head into next week as our temperatures go down a little bit. Airport delays, not seeing anything across the Midwest, and everything showing up green nationally, but it is still pretty early. There are some areas of some low ceilings, so that could change. Our travel forecast, check out those temperatures, though, to our south in the 90s in Memphis, and actually that warmer air is as a result of a warm front that gets closer to us over the next couple of days, bringing our high temperatures into the 70s. If you're not planning on traveling that far, maybe you want to get a look at some of the leaves changing across the area. Milwaukee now has moved into the 50 to 75% range as far as those leaves changing colors. Madison still in the 25 to 45% change category. But over the next couple of weeks, we'll really start to get closer and closer to peak. And that's what we're all looking for. I think by the time we get to about the third week of this month, so in about 1 to 2 more weeks, we'll really start to see all of fall's color splendor. Now, our Pinpoint City forecast, typically this weather, if we didn't get any rain, actually one of the best to see those leaves. Temperatures in the 50s for this afternoon and really not moving all that much. And that includes spots like Baraboo, Prairie du Sac, and Lone Rock, where temperatures are staying in the 50s. But then overnight, those temperatures actually going up a little bit, and we'll be in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We could see a round of heavier showers and storms tonight and also Tuesday into Wednesday, but we'll keep those rain chances in for those 4 days. Then as we head into Thursday, temperatures back in the 50s, but the sunshine comes back out for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. By next Sunday, some additional showers are possible. So the sunshine is coming. It's just on an extended fall break, shall we say.
Gotta have something to look forward to, though, Dave.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Kara posted this on Facebook after Chris made a request for cat walking pics. Well, as luck would have it, she says she is one of those cat walking people. Check that out. We love it. Chris, I'll have to show that to Chris. He'll just love that. He's on vacation this weekend. But thank you so much for sharing, Kara. What does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter or Instagram. And use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. We love our pet pictures, especially those cat walking pics. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. Right now, you can help fund the multi-million-dollar expansion of the Olbrich Botanical Gardens. Until Tuesday, the city is selling $500 bonds on a first-come, first-served basis. They're 10-year notes, at which time people can cash them in and collect interest. The money collected will help pay for the construction of a new learning center and an energy-efficient greenhouse where staff will be able to grow even more flowers and plants. In total, the project will cost an estimated $12 million and will be the garden's first expansion in nearly 20 years. In that time, annual attendance has nearly tripled. Construction on the expansion is expected to take a year. Well, it is 16 minutes past the hour, and it's the first weekend of October, and the spookiest holiday of the year is right around the corner. As you start your Halloween party planning, we have some creative cocktails and daring drinks you should add to your menu. We're putting the boo in booze just ahead on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning. Just about 7:20 on this Sunday morning. Some light drizzle and some light shower activity across some portions of southern Wisconsin, but mainly just dealing with the clouds right now. But that will change throughout the day. Have that umbrella ready to go because you might need it throughout the course of this Sunday. Platteville, not seeing any rain right now, just the clouds on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Temperatures starting off in the 40s and 50s across southern Wisconsin. This morning, breezy and cool, cloudy, maybe a few showers here and there. Temperatures staying in the 50s. This afternoon, mostly cloudy. Showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm are possible. And tonight, areas of fog with more showers and storms. Our next potent round of rain could be on the way for tonight. Speaking of potent, some potent potables on the way, and Josh has more on that.
All right, Dave, thank you. You are right. It is 7:20 right now, and Halloween is 3.5 weeks away, but it's never too early to start planning your frightful and fun-themed festivities. This morning, we're putting the boo in booze with a variety of cocktails perfect for your get-together. Emily Cruz from the Food Fight group joins us with some deliciously sounding cocktails. So what are we working on today?
We are making a Halloween kind of fall-themed margarita. So we're going, courtesy of Patron, we are using Patron Añejo, which is giving you a little bit more oaky vanilla flavor than the Reposado or Blanco. So we're gonna start with a little bit of ice. First, we will put our tequila in, so about 1.5 ounces of this guy.
Everybody's favorite, right?
A little dangerous. And for our liqueur, we're also going to use Patron Citron, which is an orange liqueur. So we're going to put 0.5 of that guy in there. And our fall flavor, we're going to use some carrot juice, which is going to give you that your orange color, a little festive. 1.5 ounces of this one.
Is it pretty important to stay on those measurements?
It is, just because you don't want to overwhelm with a lime juice or too much simple syrup, or you don't want too many flavors being overwhelmed.
Okay.
So we like to keep it at 0.5 or 0.75 or 0.5.
Okay.
So for the tequila, the carrot juice, and the fresh lime juice, we're going to do 0.5. For the liqueur and the simple syrup, we're going to do 0.75. And this is simple syrup. It's just 1 part water, 1 part sugar, hot water, and then it'll dissolve and you can let it chill for a little while. So we bring that into our shaker. We'll shake it up.
Getting a morning workout in.
I have rimmed the glass with a little sugar in the raw and a little festive red sugar.
Oh, wow.
So you get a nice orange color, and these are some nice earthy flavors for fall as well. And to top it off, we are going to use a little bit of red wine. Here, I'll get this out of the way.
What does the wine add to it?
It gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit of a smoky flavor, and you get a little bit kind of a chilling as it seeps down a little.
Spooky.
Yeah, so it's good for Halloween parties. You can get some fun straws. Good to top off with a fresh lime. Yeah, so that's what we have for you this morning.
Awesome. So you're with Food Fight Group.
Correct.
If people are interested in reaching out to you, maybe for the recipe or anything else, how can they reach you?
Yeah, we're at Canteen. We're located 111 South Hamilton. So we have tacos, tequila, a whole bunch of different cocktails. If you want to stop in, ask for this and we can make it for you.
All right, awesome. Putting the boo in booze.
Yeah.
I love it, Emily. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, if you're looking for a fun fall activity for the kids, there's a spooky trolley ride you might want to check out. The Wisconsin Dells Haunted Nights History Tour is going on throughout the month of October. Organizers say they'll tell you about the secrets tourism marketers are trying to keep hidden. There you can visit a haunted cemetery, use a special meter to search for ghosts, and maybe even run into a few scary surprises along the way. You can buy tickets at dellstrolley.com. Today's your chance to walk to end Alzheimer's. News 3 is a proud sponsor of the event, starting at 10 o'clock at Memorial High School. And you still have time to sign up this morning. This year's walkers have already raised more than $150,000 for Alzheimer's research. The disease affects more than 5 million Americans. And also happening today, the world's #1 best-selling author James Patterson will be at the Overture Center for the Wisconsin Book Festival. He's known for his thriller and mystery novels. This weekend, though, he's focused on a whole different genre. Max Einstein, The Genius Experiment is a children's adventure novel about a girl who solves some of the world's toughest problems using science. Patterson will begin his talk at 10 this morning. And even if you missed Patterson, you haven't missed the Book Festival. That 4-day event actually officially runs Thursday through Sunday at the Madison Central Public Library and other downtown venues. You can find a full list of the many events at the wisconsinbookfestival.org. Time right now is 7:25. Still ahead in this broadcast, the biggest fundraiser happening in the Madison area, helping children with Down syndrome live normal lives. But first, are you hungry yet this morning? We're going behind the scenes of one of Madison's most popular Italian restaurants as they celebrate 50 years. This month's Tastemaker is coming up on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. A slice of Italy in the Dairyland. This month's Tastemaker takes us to Portobello, a behind-the-scenes sample of what the well-known, well-loved restaurant has to offer.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
And a very good morning to you, and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Sunday. It is just about 7:30 on this October 7th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is tracking more rain chances for the work week, but first, here's what's making news this morning. Madison police are investigating a possible shooting outside of Connections Bar. It happened overnight on the 3700 block of East Washington near the Hy-Vee there. Police say they found evidence of a shooting in the parking lot of Connections, but wouldn't elaborate more. No injuries have been reported so far, but police are looking for witnesses in order to track down the people involved. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Starting next fall, some students at Edgewood College will get a private school education at a public school price. Edgewood College's Intuition Grant Program will help students who excel in academics get a small college experience at a tuition rate comparable to that of UW-Madison. Students accepted into the program will be guaranteed the same level of aid for all 4 years. The new program will be available to full-time freshmen. University of Wisconsin students will be on Bascom Hill this week handing out materials for mental illness awareness. It's part of their campus-wide suicide awareness effort known as the Bandana Project. Earlier this year, we introduced you to the founder of that project, Conlon Bass. He lost his uncle and a high school friend to suicide, deciding there should be more conversations about the issue at his university. Now almost 3,500 people have a neon green bandana and cards to help point people towards services. A recent survey shows more than 200 people wearing bandanas have been asked for information on those mental health resources. First pitch for the Brewers-Rockies playoff game is set for 3:37 this afternoon. While this is an away game, the Milwaukee Brewers have the 10th best home attendance record in baseball. The Milwaukee Business Journal reports the numbers were released this week for total attendance for every major league team. The Brewers made the top 10 despite being the smallest metropolitan market in the league. Although the average league attendance decreased 4.1%, the Brewers actually saw an increase of 11.4%. How about that? Maybe their record has something to do with it this year. The teams lead the current series 2-0. It is 7:31. Let's send it over to meteorologist Dave Caulfield, who's tracking even more rain. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh, some more rain on the way over the next 3 to 4 days. But let's focus on today. Let's live in the now, folks. In the now, we really don't have all that much falling across southern Wisconsin, but just to the south and west, we see some more substantial rain that will come through today. So really nothing heavy until we get into tonight, where a round of heavy rain is possible. But you'll want the umbrella today because some of those nuisance showers will be coming through. Right now, though, just looking at clouds in downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Temperature starting off in the 40s in the Dells and also in Madison, 50s in Janesville, 51 in Boscobel Prairie du Chien at 49. Visibility is down for some of us, but really a big storyline today is going to be that wind. That breeze is picking up across much of southern Wisconsin. 12-mile-per-hour winds out of the north and east in Lone Rock and in Madison. So a little bit on the breezy side, cool today with temperatures staying in the 50s. Those northeast winds will be kicking at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, could be gusting closer to 25 at times. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Things pretty quiet on the Beltline at Park Street. No major accidents or incidents to report across the major roads in and around Madison. Traffic is heading out at the posted speeds or drive times this morning. Eastbound Springfield to University Ave, that's 4 minutes on the Beltline. Average speed of around 60 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. In Washington this morning, Judge Brett Kavanaugh is now officially a member of the United States Supreme Court. The Senate voted to confirm him by a 50-48 margin. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska voted against Kavanaugh's confirmation, but that was offset by Democrat Joe Manchin voting in favor. Kavanaugh was sworn in late Saturday afternoon. Wisconsin's 2 senators voted along party lines, with Democrat Tammy Baldwin voting against the confirmation and Republican Ron Johnson voting in favor. Senator Baldwin released a statement after the vote saying in part, quote, "Judge Kavanaugh has proven that he lacks the judicial temperament to serve on America's highest court, and I do not believe he will provide independence we need on our Supreme Court at this time," end quote. Meanwhile, Senator Johnson cited Kavanaugh's experience on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, saying, quote, "The reviews of him being a judge and being impartial and showing the proper temperament on that court are overwhelming," end quote. Foxconn will be holding some job fairs across Wisconsin over the next month. The Taiwan-based company is looking to employ more than 13,000 people from the state at a new $10 billion manufacturing and research complex in Mount Pleasant. The company is looking for people to fill jobs in a variety of areas, from software engineering to interior design. The first fair will be held in Mount Pleasant next Saturday at the temporary Foxconn building on Globe Drive. There will also be fairs later this month in Racine, Green Bay, Eau Claire, and Milwaukee. One of Madison's longest-running restaurants, Portobello, has provided a slice of Italy in the Midwest since 1968. 50 years later, it's still an iconic eatery. Madison Magazine's Andrea Bailey checked it out for this month's Tastemaker.
We're here in the banquet room at Portobello with one of the owners, Ed Shinnick. Thanks for having us today.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Can you tell me what we have on the table here?
We have 4 different items. We'll start with the appetizer. There's stuffed mushrooms, and there's Italian meats and cheeses, peppers, onions.
And what's this dish here?
This dish is a beef and portobello mushrooms over pasta with a gorgonzola sauce.
Oh, yum. That's delicious. And this is a shrimp dish?
This is a shrimp and a peppered shrimp Alfredo. So it's red peppers, shrimp, portobello mushrooms, and then Alfredo sauce.
Do portobello mushrooms show up a lot on your menu?
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That makes sense. And then we have our trademark portobello salad.
An iconic Madison dish here.
Yes.
And has the menu changed a lot since you've opened?
Huge. We've went from a 2-page menu to an 8-page menu.
Wow.
A lot of items we have now, we've kind of combined recipes from the Green Bush. Our original partner's wife was Rose Troya, and Troya was one of the restaurant families in the 60s and 70s. So a lot of her recipes were incorporated into this. We've also incorporated recipes I found while in my travels in Italy. We have a sister city, Mantova, and I've had the opportunity to be in their restaurants, in their kitchens, and I've learned a lot of different unique cooking methods.
And I wanted to talk too about this portrait behind us. You took this picture, is that right?
I took that picture, probably 10 years ago. It's our sister city. I was sitting on their bridge entering the city, a lot like our John Nolan Drive.
This place opened in 1968, but you knew this place even before then, as coming here as a kid, right?
Yeah, I started going to Paisans probably in the 50s.
And
so yes, I'm very old.
How did you start working here?
By fluke.
Fluke?
Really. So a friend of mine was working here. We were in high school at the time. A friend of mine was working here, and he broke his leg, broke his ankle. And so I needed a job. And so I came in here, and Roy McCormick was our original partner. And I went up to Roy. I said, Roy, I need a job. And he went, can you work Friday and Saturday? I said, yes. He said, well, I'll see you Friday.
Easiest interview.
That was a very easy interview.
Looking back now, did you think that you'd be where you are today running Portobello for over 50 years?
No, not initially. No, I started out in college with accounting program and labor management programs, and then it just kind of grew on me, and you can use those things today in what we do, but it wasn't my intention.
Well, this is such a gem in Madison. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
it.
You can read more of Andy's look at Portobello in this month's issue of Madison Magazine. Well, it is just about 7:38. Heading back in time to move their message forward. October is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and a local organization is hosting a 20s-themed celebration to raise money for the free programs they offer to hundreds of Madison area families. We're talking to the director of Gigi's Playhouse next on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
7:41 on this Sunday morning. Good morning. Some very light drizzle and really not seeing much in the way of light showers across southern Wisconsin right now. However, some more substantial showers just to the south. So throughout the next few hours, expect the rain activity to increase slightly across the area. A live look in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam, kind of a gloomy, dreary start to our Sunday. And fortunately, I don't really see too much improvement in the weather department throughout today. Breezy and cool, cloudy with some showers moving in this morning. Temperatures staying in the 50s, and this afternoon we're in the 50s as well. Mostly cloudy. Showers could be a few isolated thunderstorms as well. Tonight, a heavier round of rain could be on the way for some of us. Temperatures in the 50s before they start going up into the 70s tomorrow with some areas of fog as well. And that is your first alert forecast.
All right, Dave, thank you. It is 7:42 this morning. October is National Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and a free local resource in the Madison area is hoping you'll support them and the thousands of community members living with the condition. Gigi's Playhouse is a local resource and achievement center for people living with Downs and their families. Their largest fundraiser of the year is this week. Julia Myers, the center's director, joins us this morning. Julia, good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, and thanks for inviting me.
You bet. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Gigi's Playhouse.
Well, Gigi's Playhouse is a Down Syndrome Achievement Center, and we offer right now 9 free therapeutic and educational programs for people with Down syndrome.
So obviously this is kind of a big month for you guys. Talk about
Yes,
how this awareness is good for you guys.
Well, we have our big fundraising event during the month of October, and it's actually next Friday at 6 o'clock at the Sheraton. And it's a gala in the 20th theme, so if you would like to dress up, come. We still have tickets available, and it will be an awesome party with pool tables, not pool tables, game tables, and dinner, and it will be just really wonderful.
So why is this gala important for you guys?
It is important because everything we offer at Gigi's Playhouse is free. And in order to offer all these programs free, we need funding.
And why is this awareness? Obviously, you know, October is Awareness Month for Down syndrome. And why is it important for you as a director to see everyone kind of coming together for this condition?
Well, we right now have 190 families we serve at Gigi's Playhouse. And those families are really just wonderful and amazing. And I personally don't have really a connection with Down syndrome before I started working there. And I'm just so impressed by all the families and their kindness and generosity. And I'm learning so much about acceptance and about all the people with Down syndrome and how wonderful and unique and special they are.
What is it like for those people that you're helping, you know, with the condition and those with their families? I would imagine the reaction from your help has to be pretty great.
Yes, I mean, it's the most wonderful place, and I always say that this is the most wonderful job you can have, is working there, because everybody is so grateful and so wonderful, and there's so many smiles and laughs, and it is so amazing to help people. We offer, for example, one-on-one literacy and speech, and to give somebody the gift of speech is just absolutely amazing.
So talk a little bit about the gala again. We're going to throw a graphic up so people can know about it. What do people need to know?
Just if you like to dress up and have fun at a gala, just please come, because yeah, we still have tickets available, and it will be just absolutely wonderful.
This coming Friday, October 12th at the Sheraton, Roaring 20s theme, huh?
Yeah, at 6 o'clock. Yeah,
all right.
Exactly. I already have my dress.
Sounds good. Well, Julia, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
And good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Well, time right now is 7:45, and many of us are hoping for some sunshine in the forecast. Here's a live look outside of Madison's west side this morning. Another cloudy start out there, kind of the same as yesterday. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look ahead at your work week forecast and when we can see that sun return on News 3 This Morning Sunday. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 years old soon, please let us know so we can show your kiddo on TV. We'll be right back.
Good morning. I hope your Sunday is off to a spectacular start. Weather-wise, it's not exactly a spectacular start. Actually, a pretty gloomy start once again. The good news right now, at this very moment, is we really don't have a lot of rain falling across southern Wisconsin. Some light drizzle in spots, but really that's it. However, just to the south, we're noticing a more substantial round of showers on the way. Not everyone going to be affected by this, and this rain is pretty light to moderate, but you will probably need that umbrella at times this morning and into the afternoon as well. Some nuisance showers are possible. We really don't need any more rain, and that goes without saying for a lot of the time in 2018 in Madison. But for October, already over 3 inches of rain. In fact, every day except for the 4th of October when we had that sunshine. I remember it. It's like it was yesterday, although it was a couple of days ago. Every day we've had at least a trace of rain to start the month of October in Madison, and we are 2.5 inches ahead of schedule in Madison. In Milwaukee and Rockford, closer to 3 inches ahead of normal for this time of the month of October. We could actually be dealing with a little bit of excessive rainfall today across portions of southwestern Wisconsin. Then as we head into tomorrow, that threat shifts a little bit to the north and west, and well to the north and west on Tuesday, but some of us still could pick up some heavy downpours, so we'll have to be on the lookout for that. I think our best chance of seeing a round of heavy downpours, at least our next best chance, arrives later on tonight. Live looking downtown Madison at those cloudy skies on the Edgewater Skycam. Forecast high today of 55, about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. And those temperatures have stayed pretty steady in the 50s. Last hour dipping into the 40s in Madison, 54 in Janesville. That breeze will be gusty at times out of the north and east at about 10 to 20 miles per hour today. Those temperatures, though, will actually be warmer as a warm front comes through over the next couple of days. In the upper 70s, close to 80 on Tuesday. Back into the 50s with that sunshine back with us by Thursday. Future track showing not really too much in the way of rain throughout this Sunday, although it's tough to pick up exactly where these showers will start to fall. Then as we head into tonight, our chances of rain really start to spark up and possibly even some heavy downpours throughout the next couple of days. Really not picking up too much on precipitation potential except for spots to the north and west. But we'll have to keep a close eye on that because we've seen how quickly these things can change. Temps in the 70s over the next couple of days. Then we're back into the 50s with that sunshine back with us. I'm excited for that. Very colorful bird on Pet Walk that I am not even going to try to pronounce, but great picture from Lake Mills. Thanks so much for sending this in.
All right, Dave. Thank you. Well, on our news at 5:30 and 10 tonight, one of the world's most famous authors is in town. We'll be catching up with James Patterson ahead of the Wisconsin Book Festival. But first, from a school project to flower shops across the country, 2 students dream to push their idea into the mainstream. How they hope to turn innovation into action when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back at 7:55. Two students from their high school's FFA program are hoping their prize-winning science fair project could one day be used in floral shops across the country.
Leah Durain spoke with the young women about what inspired their project.
These beautiful roses are getting royal treatment. This mini jacuzzi is a fountain of youth for the bouquet.
So we implemented aeration to help to reduce that amount of bacteria so that we can preserve the life of flowers, and we also found that it blooms them faster.
Meet the brain power behind this invention, Hannah Taylor and Ashley Walker. This spring, the two collaborated on a science project inspired by their time as interns in HEB's floral department. From there, an idea quickly blossomed.
We decided to find a way to expand the life of flowers since it's worth almost $105 billion with the floral industry, and we found that almost half of that at 45% is going to waste and just being thrown away. And so that's not efficient from an economic standpoint or a natural resource standpoint.
Once the ladies put their device together, they entered it in local, national, and international science fairs. They placed in all 3 competitions. Then the duo shared the results with HEB.
The problem was that the flower life is cut short due to the bacteria and the stagnant water in the floral buckets.
Up next, filing the patent.
My ultimate goal is to see this device in big companies such as HEB or even smaller retail floral shops. I think that it would just be a great thing to see something that Hannah and I didn't even think would be bigger than this be out there and hopefully get it patented and have it as our own and have it share it with other people to help them.
I know something those flowers like. Rain.
Yeah, exactly, and they're getting a lot of it, it seems, over the past couple of months. And to start this month, not too much in the way of rain right now across southern Wisconsin, but over the next 3 hours, some of those showers to our south moving in, especially for far southern Wisconsin. So for today, breezy and cool with showers and thunderstorms, temperatures in the 50s. Tonight, areas of fog with more showers and thunderstorms. So could be some heavy downpours as well. Then temperatures in the 70s for the start of the work week.
All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.